If you into a nice baggy relaxed fit, I have two patterns that you should check out for the fall winter season. So over the holidays, I created an outfit using two of my very own patterns. The first one being Simplicity 3037 View B, which is the baggy sweats. The next one is Simplicity 9897, and I use View A for the look. Now, when it comes to my patterns, I like to make them how I design them, but sometimes I like modifying. One of the most satisfying things is to take a pattern that I've already made and modify it just a bit to get a different look. So let's get into the details. Now here's the sweats right here. Before I get into the details, I just want you to know that this pattern is designed to be sewn right sides facing, where all the seams are towards the inside. So I wanted to do something different and expose the raw edge on basically almost all the seams, except for the hem. So if you look at the detail in the waistband, you can see the way I put it on. Here's the inside and here's the outside. I basically overlapped having the waistband on the outside so you can see that raw edge. Did the same thing for that center and also back seam, and I did a top stitch a 1/4 inch away from that first seam. Now the seam allowance here is 5/8 of an inch, which is good because it gave me enough room to do a 1/4 inch but still have 3/8 of an inch left of that raw edge to curl up. One of the details that I really love about this original pattern is the massive back pocket. Now it just brings a little bit more detail, and it's a good balance with the baggy fit of the overall design. At the top, I did right sides facing and I left it there instead of turning it around. For those that know how to sew, if you know, you flip this around and you top stitch so you get a clean look. I flipped it, top stitch it with the wrong side out, and then I just basically top stitched it without pressing the seam allowance towards the inside. And that's how you get that raw edge effect on that back pocket. Now for the front, the pockets here are called slash pockets. As you can see, there's a slash here where you insert your hand, and even here where the facing is, I left it raw edge. Now I did wrong sides facing and I just left it. I did 2 rows of top stitching just so I can secure this piece. And as you can see with the side seam, I overlapped the back over the front. So from the front view, you can see that raw edge versus the front being over the back, and you necessarily won't see that raw edge unless you see the pants from the back. So that was a little detail that I added there. And last but not least, we have the hem. Now this is one of my favorite details with this modification that I did, because naturally these pants are just super wide at the bottom, super long. If you made them, you realize how long they are. Sometimes you might have to chop a few inches off. I know I had to do that. Or you can make those fit adjustments prior to cutting into your fabric, but I just cut it as is and it was a little long, so I chopped it down. Now, one of my favorite modifications with this look is the hem. Now, if you look, I created a casing for a 1-inch elastic, but I didn't pull the elastic super tight to have it scrunchy at the bottom. I did just enough to keep it baggy, but then bring them slightly in to still have that overall look, which is why you get that little bubble up at the bottom of the hem. Now I love this look, and this might be my favorite variation out of all the ones that I made so far. Now next up, we have the sweatshirt. Now this design is amazing as is. Like the fit, the neckline, the bagginess of the sleeve, everything about this raglan design sweatshirt I love. But like I said, when it comes to modifications, I love tweaking them just a bit just to get a different look. Now, one thing about a raglan sleeve, we don't have a shoulder seam. We have the seam from the sleeve to the front. And as you can see, I overlapped that sleeve onto the front to get that raw edge effect to keep that theme going with the pants. And if you look at the back, I did the same thing. I took the sleeve and overlapped it on the back to get that raw edge on the back as well. And as you can see, I did a 1/4 inch top stitch from that first stitch. And the same thing goes for that side seam and underarm seam right here. In order to get that look from the front, I overlap the back over the front so you can see it from the front view, that raw edge finish. Now, when it comes to the neckline, I kept this pretty traditional. And the cool thing about this original design is that it shows a little bit more of your collarbone. It's just slightly a little bit deeper to show a little bit of the neckline. And I just use matching rib knit, as you can see, and it came out amazing. Now, if you look at the pattern, it comes with cuffs and also a waistband. Now, I just didn't add the cuff and I just let it naturally curl up. Usually I would do a stitching line all the way across just so it won't keep growing. I might still end up doing it, but I was so excited. I just wanted to be finished and rock it. And the same thing for that hem. If you look at the hem, it just rolls all the way up. So those were the two patterns that I used to create the look, and I hope the breakdown of the details helped you if you're trying to do the same thing, because like I said, I love modifying and tweaking little things to make a different look.